struggle when I thought that I knew best. And I've sailed through the storm instead of stopping to rest. And it always seems the hardest when I made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like water coming down the mountain in the shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? Doesn't make a fight, spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. Guess he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain in the shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I'll let nature take its course. No more thinking that I won't know where this river's meant to go. I have rallied against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me yet. Wanna be like water heading down a mountain in the shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain in the shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea.
Good morning. That was the amazing Grayson Nierenberg, who will be back to grace us with an original song after the talk today. So, welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. My name is Lori Carlson. I am a licensed practitioner here at the center, and I am honored to be doing the talk today because Reverend Frankie is away on sabbatical. So this month of October, you get to have a different experience. This week it's me, next week it's going to be Gail Belluardo, the following week Reverend Janice Valera, and then the last week in October, Gail and I are going to do it together. So I'm really looking forward to that. So welcome to everyone that's here in person. It is so great to see your faces, and to everyone who's watching us live stream on Facebook or YouTube or catching the replay at a different time, we are glad you are here. Please let us know you are here. Use the chat, use the bubbles, like us, share, be a part of the community. We want to know that you are with us. So the subject of the topic for this year at the Center for Spiritual Living is living out loud. And the topic for this month is playing with paradox. And the topic for this week is getting comfortable with discomfort, trying to embrace the both and to have a greater perspective so that we can show up and be a better expression of love in the world. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I would first like to tell you the announcements so I get them done, okay? So I want to remember later. So there is a retreat coming up that is a one-day retreat in Maryland that Reverend Frankie says is amazing. There are flyers up here. You can check it out. It's probably also on our website. There is a book study group on the untethered soul coming up in November and December with Reverend Frankie, and that's going to be awesome. I'm hoping to get there myself. We have an evening with Rhonda Dene coming up Friday, November 10th, which Rhonda is just such an experience of bliss. Her music is so amazing, so I hope that you will all plan on being there. And the most important announcement is that on November 19th, we are having a meeting here, a meeting about the future of our center, and we need you to participate. So we want all the members, all the friends, anybody who's interested in finding out what our future looks like, to please come. So put that in your calendar, and please make it back here on the 19th. So, let's see, okay, that's all the announcements, I believe. Okay, so I would like to start today by reading our vision statement. We don't do this every week. Okay, sorry guys, hold on, I had it right here. Okay.
The vision statement's out of sight.
Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah. So I want to start by reading our vision statement because from this consciousness of coming on November 19th to talk about our future and who we are, I thought it was a good idea to remember who we are and what we stand for, right? So our vision as the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown is transforming lives through the science of mind, philosophy, faith, and way of life. Our mission is providing spiritual inspiration to individuals that lifts each one to transform their lives in ways that create a world that works for everyone. And our values are vibrant community, deep spiritual practice, integrity, gratitude, unity, timeless wisdom, uncompromising compassion, conscious awareness, and spiritual transformation. So, if you take all of that in, right, as who and what we are, so come back on the 19th to help us implement that. And just one more announcement, I just want to say that I will be available for Treatment Express after the service today. Treatment Express is just a quick treatment. You say what you want prayer for, and I pray for you. Any of you who know me know that I love to do that. So I encourage you all to come up for a Treatment Express at the end. Anyone who needs further support and would like a practitioner session, we have a flyer up here with contact information for Gail Belluardo, for myself, for Reverend Frankie, and Reverend Janice. And I encourage you all to take advantage of that and to use us, because that's what we're here for. Okay, so now we're going to do our Namaste practice, but we are going to do it a little bit differently this time, okay? We usually do Namaste as sort of a greeting, right? Recognizing each other and saying hello. So today, since I forgot it last time, I would like to bring this into a little deeper spiritual practice. So instead of just using it as a greeting, I'm going to ask you to find someone next to you, behind you, one person right now, and we are going to say, the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. And then we are going to take a breath, and we are going to receive and let the other person say that to us. So the experience is to really come from that place of inner divinity and to really see it in the other person and to be seen. So it's not important who you do it with. It's not important if you get, we're going to do it twice. So it's not important that you didn't get to do it with everybody. Just really experience it, okay? So find someone. If you have to move around, move around. Okay, everybody have someone? All right, so we're going to do this without breaking eye contact. So you're going to look into the other person's eyes, and you're going to say, the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. Then take a breath, and now receive. The divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. Take a breath, and now you can break eye contact. So, was that uncomfortable for anybody? The topic today is getting comfortable with discomfort, right? It's a little uncomfortable to just maintain eye contact and stare into somebody's eyes, especially if you don't really know them. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. So choose someone else. So if you have to move, If you have to change direction, shall we come up and do it, please? Okay, so the one person, you're going to make eye contact and then not break it. Really see into that person, see their divinity, and speak these words. The divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. Take a breath, and now receive. The divinity recognizes. Take a breath and really feel what it feels like to be seen and to see the divinity in another. Okay, you can break eye contact. So, was it a little more comfortable the second time? Did it get a little easier for anybody? So, this is what the purpose of spiritual practice, right? Spiritual practice is about doing things regularly so that we become more comfortable with that. So there are a lot of things in this world that I'm uncomfortable with. I am somebody who will easily admit that I am not comfortable in conflict, and that I will often avoid a conversation just to avoid the conflict. If I know someone thinks differently than me, I don't want to upset the apple cart, right? I want to have a nice lunch. I don't want to talk about this, but here's the thing about that. Where does that bring us? That is like avoidance, right? And I know I'm guilty of it. It's my boyfriend. I'm like, I want to have a nice lunch. I don't want to talk about this. But here's the thing. That is not how you grow. That is not how we come closer to each other. That is what separates us when we stay in our own thinking, when we stay in our own idea of what's right and wrong, of what's good and bad, of what's light and dark. When we don't even try to come towards that middle way of just being willing to hear someone else. So, here's the thing. I'm not saying that you have to change what you think. I'm very sure that what I think about certain things is right, and if you think differently, you're wrong. But what does that bring? What kind of energy does that bring out into the world? It brings more conflict. It brings more aggression. It brings resentment. It brings anger. Is that what I want to bring to the world? Is that the kind of energy that I want to put out there? Ask yourself that, because it's not what I want to do. But, we often take the easier, softer way, which is to either avoid or stand in our own beliefs as being the only thing. People are very sure that they know the right way. They know the only answer, right? Just tell somebody about a health issue you're having or a relationship issue you're having, and people will tell you exactly what you should do. Well, this is what you need to eat. This is what you need to... And we all know that there's no one way that works for everyone, right? I mean, some people are vegans, some people do keto. There are a myriad of ways to be healthy. There are a myriad of ways to believe. There are a myriad of ways to be on a spiritual path. And the best and most important thing is to remember that we are more alike than we are different. Carl Sagan says we are all made of stardust. And that is true. Physically, we are all more alike than we are different. So how can we try to find those ways? How can we try to open ourselves to a greater perspective, to step outside of what we think is right, what we think is true, what we like, and just try to engage in the conversation? Because that's where the discomfort is, right? The discomfort is in engaging in the conversation. So how do we do that? We become curious. We ask questions, right? So if somebody likes something you don't like or thinks something you don't think, instead of just being in this, trying to convince them or being determined that your perspective is right, how about if you just get curious and ask them, why do you think that? Or how does that make you feel? Or where did you hear that? Or any other kind of question that opens the dialogue, as uncomfortable as it might be. Because chances are you're not going to change anybody's mind anyway. But by opening the conversation, you allow for a greater experience. You allow for consciousness to expand, your own at the very least, right? If you don't open anyone else's mind to seeing a slightly larger perspective, just your own willingness to be curious and to ask questions and to embrace the possibility of a both and world, of a middle way, just the willingness to do that expands your own consciousness, opens your own mind. And we know that this is where freedom is, right? This is the freedom from suffering. The Buddha called it the middle way. The Buddha had experienced riches and abundance. He grew up as, in a castle with everything he needed. And then he went out and gave up everything and lived on one grain of rice. And he discovered that neither way, neither extreme was the way towards enlightenment and away from suffering. And so in our teaching, when we're about expanding our consciousness to be a greater expression of love in the world, we too need to find that middle way. And let me tell you, most of you know, because I've shared it here before, that my history as an addict and alcoholic, I'm coming up on 10 years in recovery in November. But from that perspective, oh my goodness, don't talk to me about the middle way. I wanted the highs and the lows, I needed everything to be dramatic. I thought the middle way sounded boring. I did not want it. But you know what I have come to realize? That there's a difference between serenity and boring. There's a difference between equanimity and calm and confusion and chaos. And guess what? They are both present. They are both present in our world. We're going to do an exercise, a little meditative exercise later about embracing the both and giving ourselves permission to be both. But it's important that we realize that everything we do is in this duality of life, but that we are all one, right? In our teaching, there is only one. There is one presence, one spirit, one love, one energy. And we are all a part of that. So, in this oneness, though, it's important to remember that there is variety. There is diversity. We are all uniquely expressions of spirit. We are all uniquely different, and thank goodness for that, right? Can you imagine a world where everybody thought the same, everybody dressed the same, everybody liked the same? Talk about boring, right? Talk about something that does not give to the creative energy of life. We are all uniquely different. And in that uniqueness is our beauty. In that uniqueness is our ability to be better expressions of the spirit that we are. And so as we celebrate that and celebrate the fact that it is in our differences that we are amazing, and it is in our uniqueness that we find joy and creativity and beauty, we can also realize that we can come to appreciate that in others. So we just did this practice, right? The divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. Well, guess what? That doesn't just work for you in here, that are all a member of the center and all of like mind. We need to extend that to everyone. We are all spirit. So even the people who don't think what you think, who don't like what you like, even those people that drive you crazy, they are all spirit too. And here's the spiritual practice, to try to see the spirit in them. Let that place within you that is spirit see, recognize, and honor the spirit in them, even when they are different than you, even when they disagree with you, even when you disagree with them. But to step outside of that place where it's about, I like this and you like that, so I can't be like you. Just to be open to, well, that's interesting. What can I learn from this? So the whole point of opening your mind to a different perspective is to see how you can learn and grow. I know, another AFGO, right? I know a lot of you are probably familiar with the expression AFGO, another freaking growth opportunity. Changed it a little. But, and I know most of us are tired of these opportunities, right? It's like, please don't teach me anything more about patience. I'm tired of trying to learn patience. But everything that you go through in life, every conversation you have, every person that you meet that does not think like you, everything that brings you discomfort It is all there to grow you. It is, like Reverend Frankie says, it is your growing edge. If, and here's a big if you are willing to see it that way, if you are able to look at it as, oh, what can I learn from this? Oh, what can I learn from this person? How can I grow as a result of this interaction? So they may wander off and, not think twice about you, but how can I grow from this? How can this enrich my experience so that I can show up and be a better presence of love in the world? Because that's who and what we are, right? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And in this human experience, there is duality. In this human experience, there is paradox. There is polarity. There is red and blue. There is dark and light. There are all those things that appear to separate us. And they do separate us if we let them. If we're not willing and able to take a step back and try to see how we are more alike than different, to try to be open without judgment and criticism and condemnation, but to really listen and hear someone else's point of view. And I assure you, I am not saying it's easy. I don't do it well in my own life. I have people that I love very dearly that have very different opposing views from mine. And it is difficult. It is difficult. But that is the work. That is the work. That is my work to do. To learn to engage in that conversation and to engage in it from a place of openness, from a place of non-judgment, from a place of what can you teach me, rather than I gotta convince you of my point of view, because that doesn't get us anywhere, right? So I would like to know how many people here are familiar with the golden rule? Probably everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is the golden rule? Somebody tell me what it is.
Do unto others as they would do unto you.
Okay, right, okay, that's it. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Has anyone in here ever heard of the platinum rule? A few people. Okay, so this is something that I just learned in practitioner training and that I think is really important. It's the platinum rule is do unto others, whenever possible, as they would have you do unto them. You get the difference?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, we are so sure that we know, right? And even when we know what's good for people, we know how to treat people, we know what should be done, and we are comfortable in our knowing. But if you are willing to have a conversation and be curious and ask questions, you can find out what someone else wants. And that's love in action. That's where compassion really is. Treating someone the way they want to be treated. And how do you find that out? Without asking, without being curious, without being open to the conversation, without stepping into that difficulty, right? Because it's so much easier to just think you know and to be comfortable in what you believe and to stay there. And even from a loving heart of thinking that you're treating everyone else the way you want to be treated, it's still the way you want to be treated. Is anybody here familiar with the 5 love languages? That's a book that was really big a couple of years back. And it says that there are 5 different ways of showing your love, of receiving love. They are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So it's not that one is right and one is wrong, it's just that they're different. And if you are somebody who experiences love as quality time, and your partner or loved one experiences love as physical touch, there may be a disconnect there, right? Or if you receiving gifts is love to you, and acts of service is love to your partner or to someone else, there may be a disconnect. So it's really important to come out of that place of thinking that you know what everybody else wants. And even when you think that you're being loving, or you're trying to be loving, you have the intention of being loving, perhaps, this is just something to consider, perhaps you are just pushing what you think on someone else. And that the true gift, the true compassionate heart, is to ask, is to allow, is to understand what someone else wants before you try to offer it. You know, there's a big thing in a lot of 12-step things that I'm in, and also I learned this in practitioner training, that whenever you're going to give somebody feedback, you're never going to tell somebody your opinion. You ask them first. Are you open to receiving feedback? Are you open to hearing what I think? Because sometimes people are like, no, I don't want to hear it. I know what I know, and I don't want to hear it. But at least you are allowing space, right? You are asking, you are opening the conversation. And then instead of it sounding like, oh, I'm telling you what to do, now because you've asked for someone's permission, they may be more open to hearing you. Because now they're allowing you to tell them, so they are now receptive. You see how that works? By asking, you allow for receptivity. Whereas by telling, a lot of people shut back, shut off and close off. So that is the energy of that dynamic. And we live in a world where there is both and where we need to embrace the possibility of both. We need to be open to others so that we can embrace the chances of coming together in a middle way that works for everyone, right? That's Center for Spiritual Living, the general organization's vision, a world that works for everyone. But it doesn't work for everyone the same, because people are not the same. We envision a world that works for everyone as they need it to work for them. And how do you know what that is if you don't ask? So what are some areas in your life where you are stuck in your thinking? Where you are stuck in that you know what's right, or you know what you believe, and you are unwilling to see a different way, to have a greater perspective. You don't have to yell it out, you can just think about it. But I'm sure there are ways, right? I know there are several in mind, that you are stuck, where you are so firmly entrenched in your identity of this is who I am. I'm a day person, I'm a night person, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. There's all these labels out there that we use to identify ourselves with. And guess what? They change. I used to be a night person, now I'm a morning person, So there's those kind of things change. They are not permanent. They are not who and what you are. They are your experiences, they may be your likes, they may be your tendencies, they may be your habits, but they needn't define you unless you allow that label to become your identity and to become who you feel you are and how you show up in the world. Because we want to show up in the world as loving compassion, as compassionate awareness. And you can only do that from a place of self-awareness. So there's a quote that I want to share with you by Brian Emerson. Standing in the third way is a practice. So like I said, like all spiritual practices, it's something we practice. It's not something that comes naturally to us. It relies on a way of being and doing that most of us were never taught. It requires self-awareness, knowing what your labels are, right? Conscious choice, choosing to engage in the conversation, and courageous action. Because it is courageous. It is courageous to step out of your comfort zone. It is courageous to engage with others as they want to be engaged with. It is courageous to allow for a greater vision of what is possible. It's not easy, but that's where the spiritual work comes in, right? Learning to become comfortable in those conversations that are difficult, in those interactions that don't feel good. Learning to grow your awareness so that it is more inclusive and less exclusive. Less us and them and more we. This is the point of all spiritual work. So, I would like to close out we're going to do a meditative practice, but I would like to explain how important it is to do the smallest thing, right? I've talked about this before in other talks, but in getting comfortable with discomfort, we do it over and over again. We take a little step and we get a little more comfortable. We take a little step and we get a little more comfortable. So we ask an easy question first, right? I mean, I'm not saying that you have to go to Thanksgiving and debate politics with your family members. You know, everyone always says at the holidays you avoid politics, religion, and money, right? But I am saying that maybe you can ask the question that you've been afraid to ask, or that you've shied away from asking out of just trying to keep the status quo. Little by little, as each one opens the conversation, as each one allows for a greater understanding and tries to give other people the space for their opinions. I'm not saying you have to agree with them. God knows I don't agree with the opinions of some of my loved ones. But I need to practice the ability to give them space, to give them the right to have their own opinions as much as I disagree with them, without coming from a place of judgment and condemnation and criticism, without coming from that place of anger and conflict, but coming from a place of open-minded compassion, coming from a place of being willing to hear. Because there's a big difference between talking and listening, right? And a lot of us talk, myself included, and not really listen. So there's an opportunity here, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to become that ripple in the pond that increases the understanding for everyone. Because just like the butterfly effect, not the book by our wonderful Gail Jones, but that butterfly effect that says that a butterfly flaps his wings in South America can create a tsunami in Thailand, right? That's the concept. The smallest little action has unseen and unknowable results. So, what actions are you putting out there? What tsunamis are you starting? Love, compassion, understanding, open-mindedness? Isn't that where we want to be? Isn't that who we are? Isn't that what our vision statement said? That is who we want to be, right? That is who we are. We do not want to sit in that place of judgment, in that place of closed-mindedness, in that place of I'm right and you're wrong. So the way that we do this is we start with our inner work, because as within, so without. So we start within and we open our own selves to acceptance and allowance and understanding. And we're going to do a practice about that. We're doing that in a few minutes. But first, Grayson Nierenberg is going to grace us with another song. And this is an original song he wrote just for today's celebration, and it's called Reflection of Me. Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you, Lori. So, I did just finish this song up. Well, I finished it a couple days ago, but finished it. Added a couple finishing touches yesterday, so bear with me. Just take a look around you, all the people who surround you, like the leaves of the tree. I see you, I see me. We all grow from one branch, but we think we are so different. Even though when I look in your eyes, I can see a reflection of me. You are a reflection of me. Just ain't my job to count leaves on a tree and tell them where they should go and what color they should be. Walking in somebody's shoes is not the easiest thing to do, but we must force ourselves to try, lace up those shoes and run a mile. When I look at you, I can see right through those eyes. When I look in your eyes, 'cause you hide inside it, it's true. When I look in your eyes, I can see a reflection of me. 'Cause you are a reflection of me. You are a reflection of me.
Wow, thank you, Grayson. Could that be any better, any more perfect for the topic today? I know it was written for today, but thank you. That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. So, I would like to share with you a poem. This is not one of mine, I wish that it was, but this is my new favorite poet that I found on Facebook. His name is John Rodell, and I encourage you to check him out. He's very awesome. And this poem, I happened to see it, and it was so in keeping with today's topic and with my talk that I thought, oh, this was meant to be, divinely, just fell right into my lap. So, this is the poem, and this is a little thing that he writes before the poem. Today, I am a little overwhelmed by the human condition. I'm lying in bed with a very sore eye and aching bones while feeling restless to go have an adventure. My lingering pain and my hopeful heart are having an epic wrestling match. The following poem is a play-by-play account of how that played out in real time as I twisted and turned in my bed this morning. I am a symphony of contrasting moments. I guess we all are. I hope these words give someone else the same bit of respite that they gave me. So, here's the poem. I am such a contradiction. I am exhausted. I am hopeful. At the same time. My legs feel like bags of dirty laundry. My heart has been inflated with helium. I am a mysterious contradiction. Half of me feels planted deeply into the earth, and the other half of me is being pulled toward the stars. I'm sinking, I'm rising, I'm grounded to gravity, I'm floating to freedom. I'm right here with you, I'm somewhere far away, all at the same time. I'm an aching body. I'm an easy piano song. I'm a string of DNA. I'm a flock of bluebirds. I'm stuck in my bed. I'm floating downstream, all at the same time. We are all unexplainable contradictions. We are temporary humans. We are unending souls. We are carrying our scars. We are shedding our sins. I just love that. So I hope you liked it too. So now I invite you to join me in a little practice of the middle way, a little spiritual practice, okay? So we are going to try to better accept the dualities within ourselves so that we can better understand and accept the dualities in others and out in the world at large, because Lord knows there are enough of them, right? So we're going to do this practice, and you can close your eyes and just try to settle into this moment, into your body, right here, right now. We're going to do a little practice on honoring, allowing, and accepting the dualities within ourselves. So, let's take a deep breath and practice holding space for the both and. Knowing that we can be soft and still be strong. We can be angry and compassionate. We can be a leader and still need guidance and help. We can be all things and nothing at all. Breathing in, you may want to place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. And as you hear these words, really try to internalize them. You can repeat them to yourself in your head if you want, or just stay in the vibration of my voice. But with each breath, we bring kindness and compassion to ourselves and allow more space for the duality. It's okay to be angry and compassionate. It's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. Breathe in and create that space. It's okay to be fearful and courageous. It's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. Breathing in and creating space. It's okay to be hard and soft. It's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. It's okay to be grieving and still find moments of joy. It's okay to feel both. I give myself permission to feel both. It's okay to be loud and still be soft. It's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. And now on the next breath, I invite you to fill in the blanks for yourself with whatever duality you struggle with, whatever you have resistance with, whatever you might judge yourself for. It's okay to be physically active for me and feel lazy. It's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. So I'm going to just leave a space for you to fill in. It's okay to be and it's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. So now that you've got the hang of it, one more time, it's okay to be and it's okay to be both. I give myself permission to be both. Setting an intention here towards wholeness, not towards perfection. Towards embracing both sides of the coin. It's in the totality of the coin that the value lies. Towards having acceptance and reverence towards your own inner dualities so that you can better accept them in others and in the world at large. So breathing in again, offering reverence to my own inner wholeness and the inner wholeness of everyone else. And on this last conscious breath, breathing into the paradox of all of our uniqueness and dualities. But in all of that, we are all still one. And when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes and return your attention back to the room. How does that feel? Did anybody create a little space? Do you feel like you created a little space within yourself that you can now extend to others? That now you can perhaps be a more loving and open-minded and accepting and gracious participant in the world, right? Accept the both and see from a greater perspective, moving into that discomfort. So it is now time from this place for our conscious giving. So I'm going to pass the basket. You can fill out an envelope or you can text to give. You can give on our website. There are lots of ways to give. And we invite you also to give by coming on November 19th, by coming and being a part of social hours, sponsoring a social hour, by contributing in any way to this community and to the world at large, by being of service. It doesn't always have to be financial, although we are very grateful for your financial gifts. So I invite you to, actually I'm going to do my own, to repeat this affirmation with me. You can just, if you're not with the basket, you can just put your hands on your heart and repeat after me. I bless this gift. I give it abundantly and joyfully.
I give it abundantly and joyfully.
I give it from that place of inner divinity within me.
I give it from that place of inner divinity within me.
That recognizes and honors the divinity within each.
That recognizes and honors the divinity within each.
I know that my gift goes forth.
I know that my gift goes forth.
And returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So, so the announcements, once again, I will be available for Treatment Express after service and is finished. You can just, if you are not on our constant contact list, there is a form up here to get our weekly news blast. And I think that's it. Okay, so we are going to close the way we always close. And I just am doing the closing affirmative prayer treatment. I realized that I missed the opening affirmative prayer treatment. So the spiritual mind treatment, I'm going to do a closing prayer. The spiritual mind treatment is an affirmative prayer. It is not a begging and a beseeching to a God outside of ourselves, but it is the recognition of that inner divinity that we recognized in others in our namaste practice today. It is an affirming of what we believe and a demanding of what we desire, knowing that we have the power to co-create our worlds. And so I invite you, I speak in the first person so that you can all internalize the words as your own. So I invite you to close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so, and to hear these words as if they were your own. And so right here, right now, in this consciousness of community, in this understanding of the oneness, where there is one power and presence, one divine creative source of all that is, that energy, that love, that givingness flows in as and through my very life, as it does in each one. And today I affirm for each that we recognize that the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in others. And that I come from that place of both and, that because of today's talk, because of this experience of community here today, I am better able to go out into the world as loving awareness, as acceptance. I am better able to embrace a middle way and to step back and find the ways that we are more alike than we are different. To be willing to create an energy of love. I affirm for each one that we are in this flow and that we have been grown and expanded here today. And that in this beautiful community, we support and uplift each other as we go forth to be ripples in the world of love. So we create tsunamis of love with every little word and action, everything we put into consciousness, every time we choose love, and we go forth to bring that into the world and to be love in action. And so I bless each one. I bless this time together. I call it good and very good. I know that we are all a part of this one amazing life. And I am grateful. I am grateful for our time together. I am grateful for this beautiful community. I am grateful for every moment that I get to spend in prayer and in conscious contact with the divinity within me. And so I affirm our good. I affirm our strength. And in deep gratitude, I release this word. I release it joyfully. I release it gratefully. And I release it expectantly, knowing it is done unto me as I believe. And so I let it go. I let it be. And I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. Amen. And now, Grayson, are you willing to do a closing song for us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is another original. I think I have played this one a couple times before. Feel free to join in however you feel. Today is a wonderful day. Tomorrow's gonna be a wonderful day too. Today, tomorrow, day after that, they're all beautiful days too. Just look up and say thank you. Just look up and say thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, thank you for the peace, thank you for the good in all I see, thank you for the love, thank you for the love. One day